First and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is in this world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is in this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Bahashem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Korash means holy. And that's on the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me the truth. In today's video, I wanted to go into how the people of the world are realizing, but they don't know why. And this is something I keep going over and over and over again, because as we get closer to the end, people are realizing that it's the end. People are realizing that, hey, these are, what Yahweh Shai talked about when it talked about rumors of wars and wars, that these things are actually happening, right? People are realizing it's talked about in the scriptures. But they don't have the 100% truth. And that's why when all these things go down, they know it's from the Bible, but they don't know what to do. Okay, because they don't really have faith. And one scripture that comes to mind, as I was saying that, is first Ezekiel chapter 33, of course. Right, Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 30 says, "Also thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, every one to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from Yahweh." Right, so going into how people come to hear the word, right, and the word is being pushed out by his prophets. Okay, the men out there doing the work every single day, every single weekend, in the hot spots of the cities, non-stop. It says, "And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness." Right? Our people understand, a lot of them understand that they're the Israelites. They've heard of it, and they understand, certain prophecies, but they're still going to go after their own ways. Okay? That is pretty much the whole story of our people is we know the right way, but we still go off. So you can read about that in Romans chapter 10 and verse 2. It says, "For I bear them record that they have the zeal of God, but not according to knowledge." Right? Our people believe in the Most High, right? They have that belief of, that they know that there's a Most High, but they're not worshiping Him the right way. It's not according to knowledge. It says, "For they being ignorant of God's righteousness, and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God." Right? So, they don't want to follow the way that the Most High is laid out. They want to go their own way. And the thing about that is, there's only one way towards salvation. There's only one way to make it. And as it says, it's the straight gate. Right? It's narrow. Okay? And it goes into faith and works in the Father and the Son. Right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So it says, "And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this cometh to pass, lo, will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them." So when these prophecies start happening, that's when you're going to realize these people, the prophets, these guys that we heard speaking downtown or on YouTube, they were actually saying the truth. And that's when scriptures such as Psalms chapter 110 are going to kick in. Psalms chapter 110 and verse 3, "Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast the dew of thy youth." Right, so in the day of the Lord, his people, these Israelites, are going to be willing to get right. But for majority of them, it's going to be too late. Right, the gates of mercy are going to be closed. And the reason why is because of all the scoffing and mocking that they did for all these years. Right, you could read about that in Proverbs, the first chapter. It says in verse 20, it says, "Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, and the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge." Right? And when it's talking about wisdom crying in the chief places, right, where there's a lot of people, That's going into the prophets, okay, preaching the word, telling you people, hey, stop being so simple, get right. Hey, these things are happening. But what do they say? Turn you at my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, I will make known my words unto you, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity, I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as a desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Okay, and that's the point, is that, hey, they're going to be looking for the Lord when all these things happen, but he's not going to be there. That's why it says in another scripture, right, many shall say, Lord, Lord, in that day. In Matthew chapter 7 and verse 22, it says, many will say to me in that day, or 21, it says, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Right, so hey, this is going into all you people that understand what's going on and don't get right. And that they're going to be looking for mercy, but hey, the Lord's not going to give it to you. So get right now, while it's available. Because it says, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. They would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. Right? You're going to reap what you have sowed. Right? And this is the mentality of people, for so long, is that they said that these things would never happen. How, oh, my great grandma's been talking about the prophecies. Let's read it. Ezekiel chapter 12 and verse 21, it says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision faileth? Right, so a proverb goes into a saying, and our people have the saying of, hey, that prophecy isn't going to happen. It's going to happen in the future. My great grandma been talking about that. Well, guess what? It says, tell them therefore, thus saith Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. Right, so he's going to make that saying stop, because he's going to make the prophecies take place, is what it's saying. Now jumping down to verse 27, it says, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of the times that are far off. Right, people saying, hey, that ain't going to happen in our lifetime. Right, maybe when I'm, 70, 80, 90 years old, but why am I going to worry about it in that day? That ain't happening for us. I'm young, I'm going to go live it up. That's the mentality of our people. But guess what? Therefore say unto them, thus saith Yahweh, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith Yahweh. And that's what we see, is that the world is realizing that his word is being established. And with that comes, all these people that, hey, like I said, we understand the prophecies. They understand that, war is coming. They understand all these things that they're at a real technical level and how to explain it logically, but they can't explain the prophecies. And in order to receive salvation, in order to be delivered from these days to come, it's going to be a spiritual deliverance, not a carnal deliverance. So Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem HaKakodash, faith, works, that is how the elect, that is how you are going to be protected. Revelation 14 and 12, here is the patience of the saints, here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Yahushai. Right, so the saints are going to keep that formula, keeping the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahushai. So these prophecies are happening and the world is realizing. Hopefully this was edifying. With that, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem HaKakodash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of great millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to elect, shalom.